political fight has broken out over the video of an assault on an elderly man in Ghaziabad. Twitter was filled with posts stating that there was a communal angle to this incident, that a 72-year-old man was beaten up and forced to chant Jai Shri Ram. Now, this claim has been refuted by the Uttar Pradesh police, and now an FIR has been filed against microblogging platform Twitter, some political leaders, activists and others for spreading misinformation.
This viral video of a man in Ghaziabad, Uttar Pradesh, being assaulted first emerged on Monday. The video showed an elderly man being assaulted and his beard being forcibly cut off. The incident took place on the 5th of June. On the 7th, in a Facebook Live with a local Samajwadi Party leader, Ummed Pahalwan, the man alleged that he was forced to chant Jai Shri Ram while being assaulted. Several journalists, Congress leaders and a prominent fact-checker expressed outrage while sharing the video, backing these unverified claims on Twitter, prompting the UP police to launch a probe. It has now emerged that the incident was not a communal crime at all, but the result of a personal rivalry. And the UP government has cracked the whip. An FIR has now been filed against social media giant Twitter, fact-checker Mohammad Zubair, co-founder of Alt News, journalist Rana Ayub, online news portal The Wire, Congress leaders Salman Nizami and Dr. Shama Mohammed, and author Saba Naqvi.
We have registered an FIR yesterday in which 7 people have been named and 2 Twitter and Twitter India have been made a party to it. Our social media team is still actively searching for posts who are still indulged. We'll take action against them also.
Twitter कॉरपोरेशन तथा ट्विटर कम्युनिकेशन इंडिया प्राइवेट लिमिटेड द्वारा भी उक्त धार्मिक संवेदनशील झूठे ट्वीट्स को हटाने के लिए भी कोई कार्रवाई नहीं की गई, जो उनका कर्तव्य एवं जिम्मेदारी थी। अतः जनपद गाजियाबाद के थाना लोनी में इन सभी के विरुद्ध मुकदमा अपराध संख्या 502/21 सुसंगत धाराओं में दर्ज किया गया है, जिनमें साक्ष्य के आधार पर कड़ी कार्रवाई की जाएगी।
The FIR against Twitter comes on a day it lost its intermediary status for not complying with information technology rules in India. The tech giant, along with 6 others, face up to 3 years in jail. They've been charged with provocation to cause a riot, promoting enmity, deliberate and malicious acts intended to outrage religious feelings, and criminal conspiracy. Politics over fake claims and the viral video have also exploded.
इन लोगों के अंदर होड़ है कि किस तरह से 2022 का जो चुनाव है यूपी का, उसकी चाबी सांप्रदायिकता के माध्यम से खोल दी जाए। लेकिन भारतीय जनता पार्टी और योगी जी की जो सरकार है उसका वो प्रतिबद्ध है कि 4.5 साल में कम्युनल या सांप्रदायिक माहौल होने नहीं दिया और ना होने देंगे।
निर्दयता, निर्ममता और सारे बंधनों को तोड़ते हुए जिस तरह हुई घटना, ये दर्शाता है कि कानून का राज उत्तर प्रदेश में नहीं है।
इस देश के अंदर सभी जानते हैं कि जाति धर्म की राजनीति कौन करता है, कि उत्तर प्रदेश के अंदर में कोई व्यक्ति चाहे किसी भी जाति धर्म का हो, उसकी सुरक्षा करना सरकार की जिम्मेदारी होती है और उसका लॉ एंड ऑर्डर मेंटेन करना भी सरकार की जिम्मेदारी होती है। सरकार अपनी जिम्मेदारी से नहीं भाग सकती, ये तय है।
The big question remains, was this old man made to say that he was forced to chant Jai Shri Ram? Was there a bigger conspiracy afoot? The investigation continues.
The Ghaziabad police claims they didn't find any communal motive behind the incident, and also they claim that none of the accused forced the victim to chant Jai Shri Ram. Hence, an FIR has been lodged against Twitter, Twitter India and many other people who tweeted this video claiming it to be a communal incident. With camera person Ritesh Mishra, this is Abhishek Anand reporting from Ghaziabad for India Today.
And joining me now from Lucknow is Siddharth Singh, cabinet minister in the Yogi Adityanath government. Siddharth Singh, by registering an FIR against opposition leaders, journalists and activists, is the Yogi Adityanath government actually trying to silence free speech?
Where are we trying to silence free speech? But they cannot, spread rumors. They cannot spread hatred within the society. And then they say that, no, we are the flag bearers of free speech. The free speech is very much enshrined in our constitution. And there is a constitution which then lays down certain guidelines through various acts and various acts like the IPC and the CRPC. So there are various guidelines. So the government, whichever government of the day is there, they need to function and act as per the guidelines of the which are covered by the constitution on a larger umbrella.
Okay.
So that's what we are doing, and certainly nobody is allowed in Uttar Pradesh to spread rumors and through that then create a hatred in the society.
Okay, then wide open microblogging platform Twitter. Again, the question that's being asked, Siddharth Singh, is this a part of a larger plot to tame Twitter?
Well, it's certainly not a larger scheme, I would say, but Twitter or a micro-blogging platform like Twitter, they have been saying very enthusiastically, they have been saying that we have checks and balances where we do not allow such things to happen, which creates hatred in the society.
Okay.
But look at it. There's something you did put on. You put on your Twitter, and you allowed that to spread hatred in the society. We have seen what were the responses from various communities who vis-a-vis with the other community. Now that is your checks and balances of the Twitter? Certainly not. Then there has to be a law, and the law takes away that protection, which is as per the central government's new IT law. So if that law takes away the protection, we are within our right then to file an FIR against them.
Okay. So you accuse Twitter of not being impartial. But then there is this video of a 72-year-old man, Abdul Samad saying he was forced to chant Jai Shri Ram and Vande Mataram and accused of being sympathetic towards Pakistan. Now, sir, in an impartial investigation, why is that video being discounted?
We are not discounting anything. Everything went through a proper investigation, and through the investigation it was learned, and certainly there is also an FIR. Now the FIR in the first place did not speak about chanting of Jai Shri Ram and all these things as mentioned by you. But then the videos, they were said that they were from the other community. Certainly they were not from the other community. They belong to the same community. So how is it possible? So all these things have, then through investigation, you do come to a stage where you conclude what was happening. And that's exactly what the UP police has put across.
Now, leaders of the Bharatiya Janata Party in Uttar Pradesh and of course here at the center seem to indicate that there is a larger political conspiracy here. What is this larger political conspiracy that you suspect?
Well, I think, Gaurav, you have been a very senior journalist and you have covered many nooks and corners of Indian politics. And you have seen many of these regional parties playing this kind of a nefarious, a hatred or communal kind of a hatred in the society. This certainly helps, to polarize, and we have seen in the past. So this is one of those schemes by political party to look at the communal angle and to polarize the society. So from that point of view, yes, it's a dirty politics that has been played. But for last 4.5 years, it's been the BJP government in Uttar Pradesh ruled, guided by our Chief Minister, Yogi Adityanath ji.
Okay.
And I can assure you, there has been no major or even minor communal tension that has happened in Uttar Pradesh, and we will ensure that the balance period before we go into the election, nothing of this sort happens in Uttar Pradesh.
No, so you allege, sir, that there are political parties who are trying to take advantage of communal polarization. That's the charge that the opposition has also leveled against your party. So which is this political party that's responsible for this conspiracy? Incidentally, AIMIM MP Asaduddin Owaisi says, ever since the BJP and the RSS government came to power, Muslims live in fear. Muslims, according to him, live without dignity, sir.
Well, I think Mr. Owaisi does carry a tag of communal, spreader of hatred. So I don't think I really need to respond to Mr. Owaisi.
Okay. Why would highlighting such a video or sharing it on a microblogging site or writing about it be seen as a criminal conspiracy and an attempt to create enmity between communities?
Well, if there is a communal violence, and because of that video, which is a fake video, it leads to a communal violence and a hatred in the society, it's a criminal offense. It's as per the law. You cannot say that it's not a criminal, it can't be a civil offense. So somebody has to be booked under the criminal offense.
Siddharth Nath Singh, for the moment, many thanks for joining me here on India First. Let me now throw this open to our guests. I have Supriya Shrinate joining me from the Congress. Shazia Ilmi represents the Bharatiya Janata Party, and our national affairs editor Rahul Shrivastava has been tracking the story about the government's notices to Twitter and the response very closely. But Supriya Shrinate, the government has accused the opposition of trying to communalize a local fight between two people, and the police say Arif, Adil and Mushahid have been arrested or are accused along with Parvesh. So there is no communal angle. Political parties tried to give it one.
You know, what I find most baffling and what I find most ironic is that just before you started that conversation with Siddharth Nath Singh, there was ADG Law and Order Uttar Pradesh Prashant Kumar who was giving some gyan to media in general about this case. It's the same Prashant Kumar ji who had very famously said that there was no rape in Hathras. You remember he had said there was no penis insertion, so there was no rape. A man who was ADG Law and Order does not even know the basic law that was changed after the Nirbhaya case. That's Mr. Prashant Kumar, the ADG Law and Order of Uttar Pradesh for you, now giving some 2 bits about what law and order situation is. This is the same Uttar Pradesh, and I know a thing or two about Uttar Pradesh because I come from there. I belong to that place. I spend almost 20 days in a month in Uttar Pradesh. This is the same Uttar Pradesh where a colleague of ours, Supriya Sharma, is facing a sedition charge because she said Musahars in Varanasi are eating grass. This is the same Uttar Pradesh where Amitabh Rawat has been booked for a case because he said during Corona a minor girl was made to mop a floor in Devariya. This is the same
But
Uttar
what about
Pradesh.
if I were to stay on the current story for the moment, before you widen this, Arif, Adil and Mushahid, let's stay on the story for a moment. They have been they are either accused or in custody along with Parvesh. There is nothing about Jai Shri Ram according to the Uttar Pradesh police or in the original complaint.
I am not saying I'm digressing away from the story.
I am staying on the story, on the current story.
I am staying on the story as well. I am staying on the story. All I am trying to tell you what happens in Uttar Pradesh. A guy who exposes that salt and roti is being given in Murzapur faces a sedition charge. I'm sorry, I'm answering the questions. You please don't speak in between. You will get a chance to talk.
You're not able to answer.
And I will not
No, you're not able to answer, my dear friend.
One by one. Okay. As soon as Supriya Shrinate has made a point, Shazia Ilmi, I'm coming to you. Go ahead,
Shazia, you've been in TV. You've been in TV. Let's bring some civility to the debate.
Both of you have been, ladies, both of you have been one by one.
So let me finish.
Please knowing the topic of the debate. You bring some dignity by acknowledging the topic of the debate.
Okay. Supriya Shrinate, quickly finish your point, ma'am.
The only point I'm trying to make
is... Please do, my dear friend, answer the question that is being asked.
Shazia, relax.
Yes.
Shazia, relax. Just
very
relax.
relaxed.
Let's do a civil debate.
Okay.
You know, don't get hyper. Just because you guys are caught each
Okay,
time.
one by one,
who
one
are
by
you
one.
trying
Let's
to
not
prove a
digress.
point to?
You know,
Are you trying to prove a point?
time is short. Okay, one by
Okay,
one.
now,
Supriya,
are
you
Supriya
trying to
Shrinate,
prove
only
a
Supriya
point?
Shrinate, please. 30 seconds, ma'am. Make your point. Then I'll bring in Shazia Ilmi, please.
I am just asking Uttar Pradesh, are they trying to prove a point to Twitter? Because as far as this case is concerned, whatever the legal realm is, whatever the logical thing to do in a case like this is, the government and the police should do this.
Okay.
What are you trying to prove as far as Twitter is concerned? You are
Fair
only
enough.
trying
Ma'am,
to
you've made the
curb
point
free
about the
speech
immediate case. I'll
on
come to
Twitter.
Twitter in just 30
That's
seconds,
what
but
I'm saying.
Shazia Ilmi,
And Shazia,
please
relax.
respond.
Just be
The
civil.
police,
Don't
okay,
get
one
Okay,
by
so I
one.
want to come
Only
in now
Shazia
and I want
Ilmi.
to address
Shazia Ilmi, the
topic
police
of
have
the
given
debate.
one side of the story.
Please,
Hear me out. Hear me out.
I'm from UP.
Hear me out.
I'm from UP. We have the oldest Urdu newspaper coming from UP, from Kanpur, which is where I'm from. So I also know a thing or two about UP.
Is this
If that
topical?
becomes a
I'm just asking
parameter,
because you
Okay.
asked
that
me.
becomes a parameter of knowledge.
One
But
by
coming
one.
to the point,
Shazia,
and only
permit me
the
to
point,
ask you the
Gaurav, let me
question.
answer.
Shazia,
First
permit me
of
to
all,
ask you the
tell me
question.
something.
Let
No,
me
Gaurav,
ask
I
you the
want to
question
ask you.
first.
No, Gaurav.
Police
no,
have
Gaurav, I
said
to answer.
they've given one side of
My
the story.
God, this is
The
very
video
unfair.
of the man has given another side of the
Gaurav,
story.
I want
The
to answer
courts will decide based on evidence. Isn't the Uttar Pradesh police government jumping the gun, ma'am?
So exactly. So our lady was not able to answer the question because clearly this is being bandied around as a communal hate crime when it is not. So whether it's a Hindu or a Muslim, if there is a brawl and people fight with each other and the accused are co-Muslims, why would you call it a communal hate crime? So that means any Muslim can get away with any kind of crime and say, oh, because I'm a Muslim, I'm being targeted, and the police should not do anything about it. And what
You
Ms.
are such a
Neete could
shining
not hear
example
properly
of
because let me
magnificent
finish.
cardio.
One by one.
Gaurav,
One by one.
Gaurav,
Supriya Shrinate, I will let Shazia interrupt. I request you not to
I'm
interrupt.
talking about a debate. I'm not all over the place. And I know how many riots have happened during the Congress rule, during Mulayam Singh's rule, and Akhilesh's rule. And I want to say that again, this color is being given by some journalists who should not be called journalists. They are anti-BJP propagators and activists. Twitter suspended Trump's account because of Capitol Hill rioting. And Twitter cannot suspend these accounts. What about manipulated media? The co-accused are Muslims. There's a brawl. So if I fight within my family and I say, oh, I'm a Muslim, but others I'm fighting with are also Muslims, how can it become a communal hate crime?
Okay.
There is no mention of Sri Ram chanting.
Okay.
It is just being
Supriya
used,
Shrinate, before I bring you in, I want to quickly bring in Rahul Shrivastava. Ma'am, you've made that point.
They're shamefully brazen about it.
Okay.
And I think Twitter should be suspended. I really for this, and they should have suspended people like Rana Ayub and Saban Naqvi because this is work of
Rahul
people and
Shrivastava, I'll come to the aspect about Twitter too. Ravi Shankar Prasad in that conversation with you said that Twitter follows double standards. How does Twitter follow double standards according to the government, and what do they intend to do about this?
Gaurav, 2-3 specific examples the IT and the law minister cited. One, that Ladakh was shown as part of China. And when the Indian government approached Twitter, it took them, the Ravi Shankar Prasad said, nearly 10 to 15 days to actually correct that mistake. Then what the government is saying that when it came to the rioting at the Capitol Hill, at that time, Twitter on suo moto took cognizance of the fact that certain tweets and posts were inciting, and that included the then President of America, and the account was blocked. Whereas on the attack on Red Fort, which has perhaps, if not the same, but great amount of significance for India as a symbol of democratic India, where since Jawaharlal Nehru's time, the tricolor is being unfurled. There, people brandishing swords attacked policemen who were to jump in a moat which was 20 feet deep. And that Twitter did not take any suo moto action. What the government is challenging is that do Indian companies, IT companies operating in the US, operate under the pleasure of laws of India or the US? If Indian companies follow US laws, then Twitter needs to follow Indian laws.
Fair enough.
Good, bad, or ugly can be settled by court. The fact is, if there is a court for significant social media, what's the harm in appointing a compliance officer or a grievance officer or a nodal officer?
Okay,
and
stay with
that's
me for a
what
moment,
the government main rouse is. And Gaurav, on this incident,
yes, just stay with me. Supriya Shrinate, Rahul Gandhi also did not perhaps try to ascertain the truth in this case. According to the Uttar Pradesh police, should the Congress not have waited for facts in such a surcharged atmosphere before tweeting out about that old man being attacked and a Jai Shri Ram connotation to it?
You know, Gaurav, I am glad that this is getting so much attention. I would really want to ask the BJP and all the independent experts who want to voice their opinion on this, that the number of times women are abused, the number of times women are threatened, you know, rape threats are given openly, and I face a lot of them. What do you do?
Yes, exactly.
Does the government, Shazia, either we do a civil debate, or I'm going to start speaking that
again you're running
each time
off
you
the
open your
topic.
mouth.
One by one. No, you're absolutely... Okay, Shazia, let Supriya Shrinate make her point. Let her make her point. I will come to you. Shazia, I will come to you.
I will not let you utter a word.
No. Allow me to moderate. Let Supriya Shrinate make her point, and then... No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I am sorry. You will speak when I request either of you to speak. Supriya Shrinate, please make your point, and then I'll come to Shazia Ilmi.
I'm only saying, Gaurav, that I'm glad something like this is getting the attention. But why does the government not come down like a ton of bricks on all those people who threaten women with rape, who threaten women physically, who abuse women, all those women who chant Jai Godse and down with Mahatma Gandhi? I want to know, Twitter was all right till it was complying with the government's orders. Why did Twitter become a problem? Because people started voicing their opinion as far as the corona mismanagement is considered on Twitter. People started asking tough questions of the government on Twitter on unemployment, on economic ruin.
Ma'am, you still haven't answered my question about Rahul Gandhi. Did Rahul Gandhi jump the gun? Is there merit in the Uttar Pradesh government saying all of this is very dangerous politics ahead of Uttar Pradesh elections? I will come back to you to answer that question.
Yes, can I answer please? Can I come in? Can I be given the same?
It is the government.
Okay,
no, but Shazia Ilmi, respond to Supriya Shrinate.
Yes,
there will be a civil debate, and I will ensure that it is a civil debate, please.
Yes, I will.
Shazia Ilmi, the opposition alleges only Shazia Ilmi, please. Only Shazia Ilmi. Supriya Shrinate alleges, opposition says this clampdown is arbitrary. Hear me out.
Can I answer, please?
This clampdown is arbitrary. Only voices that are critical to the government are being silenced, and it started only after Corona was exposed, or the shortcomings during Corona were exposed.
No, that is not true. Twitter itself called it manipulated media when it came to Sambit Patra's account. So that is not true. And what did Twitter do vis-a-vis their own president on the Capitol Hill rioting? And this is a complete lie, a blatant lie. That is why Supriya Shrinate is looking for cover. She's going helter-skelter. She's scrambling because she can't answer. Why can't Rahul Gandhi check this? Because they're looking for incidents. They're looking for some kind of communal crime.
Okay,
no,
one
be
by one.
quiet. Be
Supriya
quiet.
Shrinate, I will come back to you as soon as Shazia finishes her point.
You answer. Yeah, let me answer. So look, please ask this lady to be quiet. Ma'am, because you got exposed and you could not answer. No. Ma'am, because you got exposed and you ran helter-skelter and you were obfuscating, it's not my fault. Because I want to speak on the topic.
One by one. Supriya Shrinate, let Shazia complete her point, ma'am.
She has just admitted it was manipulated.
Yeah, that's why she hating, because she can't answer the question. And yes, you should talk about rapes. Yes, Supriya Shrinate, and tell Rahul Gandhi to speak about rapes in West Bengal. Talk about why a 17-year-old Dalit gets raped by gang rape, thrown in a jungle because a family voted for BJP. Yes, you should speak up. I agree with you. Rahul Gandhi should say that. Rahul Gandhi should speak for the Dalit girl, should speak for the 60-year-old grandmother who was raped in front of her grandson.
Okay.
Yes, you're right. Rapes have to be exposed.
Okay,
Rapes
may I
have to
request
be
both of you
exposed,
to
especially by the TMC group.
And I want to bring in Rahul Shrivastava once again. Rahul Shrivastava, now that FIR has been written and those who allege that this is a clampdown on freedom of expression. But Rahul, should a red flag not have gone up when the video was released on social media without an audio layer and allegations were made about this old man being made to chant Jai Shri Ram? There was no corroborative evidence. Now, all of this should have been cross-checked unless there is merit in the allegation that there was a political leader on whose Facebook post this happened, and all of this is an attempt to communalize the atmosphere in Uttar Pradesh just before elections, Rahul.
Gaurav, you're absolutely right. See, I have followed Uttar Pradesh for 35 years now. And there have been, right since then, minor incidents. If you go back to August 2013, way ahead of the 2014 Lok Sabha election, there was a minor eve-teasing incident and a traffic accident incident that eventually led to one of the worst riots in Uttar Pradesh. Yes. And there were lives lost. And it polarized the election and polarized the polity. Now, somebody may dismiss this as an ordinary incident, but it has the potential to disturb public order and peace. There are provisions in the law. Now, the point here is that this incident has not just two dimensions. There are three versions already: the police version, the alleged victims version, and one of the perpetrators who was part of the group which had allegedly attacked them, even he has provided a third version.
Yes.
Now, irrespective of the fact which way the investigation will go, people seem to be adopting the suitable version for their own personal benefit. Now, that's where lies the real risk, Gaurav. When people start using it for personal benefits, then it actually polarizes the polity and demography further.
Yes, and Supriya Shrinate, that's the allegation that's being leveled, whether it was Rahul Gandhi or Asaduddin Owaisi or Samajwadi Party leaders or others. You know, in the original complaint, the BJP says there was no reference to Jai Shri Ram. All of this after a meeting with a Samajwadi Party leader, I think Umaid Pehlwan or something, you know, after that meeting, it just became a Jai Shri Ram and Vande Mataram, and you know, a Muslim being made to say that he's sympathetic to Pakistan. Did Rahul Gandhi, did Asaduddin Owaisi, did all these people jump the gun here, ma'am?
You know, Gaurav, while I will wait for the court's verdict on this, UP police is the last portal I will trust. And I will tell you why. They thought Hathras wasn't a rape. They did not act against Kuldeep Singh Sengar, who is now not just accused, but actually has been found guilty of rape and murder and is actually behind bars. They did not act against him. It was the Allahabad High Court that asked them to act against him. Chinmayanand, they did not act against him, but they act against independent journalists. They act against people who will expose the government, ask them tough questions. UP has become a minefield of sedition cases. At the drop of a hat, sedition cases are filed against people who want to show the truth. You want to show the truth about Varanasi becoming Kyoto? Here is a sedition case. You want to show the truth about Devariya? You want to show the truth about Mirzapur? Here is a sedition case. I don't know who on this channel can deny the fact that UP police consistently bundles up, consistently denies
Respond,
the truth.
Shazia Ilmi. There are three versions. It's only the court that will ascertain what the actual truth was.
The lady, the preceding speaker does not have anything to say, but the least I'll say is that Rahul Gandhi's account and Owaisi's account, which are being used to spread communal harmony, should be suspended because they cannot cause enmity between communities, and that is exactly what is being done.
Okay, one by one. Supriya Shrinate, when you were speaking, Shazia didn't interrupt. Would request you to extend the same courtesy, ma'am.
Stop being garrulous so bad and cantankerous. Learn some manners, my dear friend. Just because you can't answer a question.
Because Twitter is not acting according to the whims of fancy.
Okay, one by one. Supriya Shrinate, now you're being unfair, ma'am. Respond, Shazia.
Just because they have been exposed and the communal agenda is out for everybody to see, you cannot allow a garrulous and a cantankerous woman, a speaker, a spokesperson.
Okay, ma'am, no personal attacks. My request is no personal attacks.
Go on rambling, talk about everything else, but the topic in question. I talked about rapes. I talked about West Bengal rapes. She has nothing to say on that. So Hathras becomes very important, but the three minor girls who were raped in Rajasthan, because Ashok Gehlot was filing his nomination, will not get any mention. Why?
From one side to the other.
Okay. My request to both our guests is no personal attacks. As far as this case is concerned, now let's see what investigations reveal and what the courts finally decide.